Alrighty. Alrighty. How you guys doing? You know what I'm curious about, actually? Let's watch. Alright, so before we jump in, I want to watch a couple
Hey
videos
guys, you
here.
should check out this game, Galahad 3093. It's a mech-based hero shooter set in a sci.
Hello! So you've just started Final Fantasy XIV, you've created your Warrior of Light, and now you're stuck on picking a job. You probably heard about all the memes about Fellcleave, and you think to yourself, I want to do that. So you picked Marauder. Warrior's a really fun tank class that actually refuses to die. Their kit got a major upgrade from Shadowbringer, so now they really don't want to die. Besides that though, Warrior is actually really simple and super fun, so let's check it out. Let's start with your main combo, which is Heavy Swing into Maim, then into Storm's Path or Storm's Eye. Storm's Path will give you a small heal, and Storm's Eye will give you a personal damage buff called Surging Tempest for 30 seconds, which has a maximum duration of 1 minute. Your AoE combo will consist of Overpower, which is a cone AoE attack, then into Mithril Tempest, which will also give you Surging Tempest for 30 seconds. You also have your ranged attack, Tomahawk. Starting at level 35, Maim and Storm's Path will start giving you Beast Gauge, with Maim and Storm's Eye giving 10 and Storm's Path giving 20. Mithril Tempest will also give you 20 Beast Gauge at level 74. Using 50 Beast Gauge, you're able to use Inner Beast, but at level 54, you're able to use Fellcleave! You can also use 50 Beast Gauge on Steel Cyclone or Decimate at level 60. At level 50, you'll get Infuriate, which will give you 50 Beast Gauge instantly, allowing you to go straight into Fellcleave! Or if you're level 80, using Infuriate will change Fellcleave to Inner Chaos, which is a guaranteed critical direct hit and has a high potency. At level 72, using Infuriate will change Decimate to Chaotic Cyclone, which is also a guaranteed critical direct hit to every enemy. At level 66, all of your Beast Gauge moves will reduce the cooldown of Infuriate by 5 seconds when you use them. And at level 70, you'll unlock Inner Release, which will increase the duration of Surging Tempest by 10 seconds and will give you 3 stacks. With these Inner Release stacks, your next 3 hits will be guaranteed critical direct hits. However, these should only be used on Fellcleave or Decimate, because Inner Release will allow you to use these moves without any Beast Gauge cost. At level 90, using Inner Release will also allow you to use Primal Rend, which is a gap closer and is a critical direct hit. Inner Release will also negate a few debuffs as well, and negate most knockback and draw-in effects, which can be useful. Onslaught is Warrior's gap closer, which you start with 2 charges and will gain a 3rd charge at level 88. Upheaval is an off-global single target attack, and Orogeny is an off-global AoE attack. Both Upheaval and Orogeny share the same cooldown. Warriors are known for not dying, and that's mainly because a lot of their defense cooldowns are heals. Besides your standard role action cooldowns, Rampart and Reprisal, you also have Vengeance. Vengeance is your 30% cooldown that has a neat effect where any physical attack that comes at you will get thrown back at the enemy. Thrill of Battle will increase your maximum HP by 20%. At level 78, Thrill of Battle will also have another effect where it'll increase the HP recovery by healing actions for yourself by 20%. Equilibrium will give a strong heal to yourself, and at level 84 will also give you a regen for 15 seconds. Raw Intuition will reduce your damage taken by 10% for 6 seconds. That might not sound that strong, but Raw Intuition will also make any weapon skill you use restore HP during its duration. This move is already busted as it is, but at level 82 it gets even stronger in the form of Bloodwetting, which has the same effects as Raw Intuition. Tuition, but will grant 2 additional buffs. One of them will reduce damage taken by another 10%, and the other is a personal shield that lasts for 20 seconds. Both Raw Intuition and Bloodwetting share a cooldown with Nascent Flash,
nice.
which you can give to one party member, and any weapon skill you use will heal them and reduce their damage taken by 10%. Shake It Off will give yourself and your party members a shield for 15 seconds. This shield can be buffed by using Thrill of Battle, Vengeance, Raw Intuition, and Bloodwetting before using Shake It Off. Keep in mind though, that when you use your other cooldowns to buff Shake It Off, it will instantly remove them. At level 76, Shake It Off will also heal yourself and your party members. Holmgang is Warrior's invulnerability move. I personally think this one is the best in the game, strictly because of its short cooldown, and the fact
I don't really like the way he's doing things. I don't know. I wasn't a big fan of that.
So here we go, we have loaded into the battle. We've got our shield maidens with us, but it looks like the enemy siege tower is almost at the walls already.
This is going to be a breakdown of Warrior at
Okay,
level 90.
I was just about to
I'm
say,
a
wait a
long-time
minute,
Warrior
that's
main,
not
and I've had
Final
a
Fantasy.
good bit of experience with the abilities at level 90 now, so I feel like I can give a good opinion on how it's supposed to be played. We're going to have a look at all the new abilities that came in with Endwalker. We're going to work on a rotation and a little opener to get you started in Endwalker. Now let's get right into this. Your basic combo is still the same. You have Heavy Swing, Maim, and Storm's Path. Alternatively, as a combo finisher, you still have Storm's Eye, which applies a damage buff. This buff always needs to be on you, so if it's about to run out with less than 7 seconds, just reapply it. You can also apply this buff twice and get up to 1 minute of buff time. However, I find that's unnecessary for a lot of fights, and it's probably even a DPS loss. That's because sometimes during fights, bosses will disappear, and during that time, your damage buff is just sitting there doing nothing. Your AoE combo of Overpower, Mithril Tempest is still the same. However, Yoshi P has blessed us, and the AoE combo now also applies Storm's Eye. It used to be that even during large mob pulls, you had to single target one enemy to get your Storm's Eye to be able to get that buff during these pulls. No longer is that the case, because you can both apply
noticed that,
and maintain
now you
Storm's
can
Eye using
get
your
your
AoE
ability
combo.
with the
Thank you.
AoE
That's
combo
just such
too,
a good quality
which is
of life
huge.
change for Endwalker. Upheaval is your off GCD damage ability that you basically want to use on cooldown. And at level 90, you now get an ability called Orogeny, which shares a cooldown with Upheaval. This is basically just AoE Upheaval, which is also a really nice change. So if there are 3 or more enemies, use Orogeny. If it's 2 enemies, use Upheaval. Using your attacks, you slowly get Beast Gauge. This can be spent on 2 attacks, those being Felcleave or Decimate. In earlier levels, these are called Inner Beast and Steel Cyclone. You never want to cap on Rage in the Beast Gauge, just spend it on Felcleave or Decimate. It used to be that you wanted to wait until 70 Rage before using Felcleave or Decimate, because Upheaval used to cost Rage. That's no longer the case. They removed the rage cost from both Upheaval and Onslaught. So basically, by now, there's no downside to just using your Felcleave whenever it's up. Infuriate is an ability that has 2 stacks, which grants you 50 Beast Gauge, 50 Rage, and at level 80 it also upgrades your Felcleave to Inner Chaos and your Decimate to Chaotic Cyclone. This ability is really easy to use, just spend it and never get back to 2 stacks. Always use it before it regenerates the second stack. And then, starting with level 80, press your Felcleave button to use Inner Chaos, and press your Decimate button to use Chaotic Cyclone. Each one is basically just an upgraded version of Felcleave or Decimate. What's important to note here is that both of these abilities, when upgraded with Infuriate, are going to crit and direct hit. Keep that in mind, because it's going to be important in a second. Inner Release, which at earlier levels is called Berserk, got a massive change with Endwalker. Instead of having a set amount of time to use your 5 Felcleaves now, you get a total of 15 seconds to use 3 Beast Gauge actions, so either Felcleave or Decimate. And again, these are guaranteed critical direct hits. So ideally, we want to use Inner Release on cooldown and immediately spend it on 3 Felcleaves or 3 Decimates. What we never want to do is use Infuriate during Inner Release, because that's going to upgrade our Felcleave into Inner Chaos, which automatically crits and direct hits. So in practice, whenever you make this mistake, you're losing a guaranteed critical direct hit. So always use your Infuriate before you're about to cap, and immediately spend it on Inner Chaos before using Inner Release. With Endwalker at level 90, Warrior also gets another ability called Primal Rend. This is a really easy and satisfying to use ability. Whenever you use Inner Release, you get a stack of Primal Rend ready, and you have 30 seconds to use it. Now don't panic and use it during Inner Release, because you don't have to. This ability automatically crit direct hits, so you can use it at any point during the 30-second timer. Just make sure to actually use it and not let it run down, because this is a big damage ability. Because it's 240 more potency than a basic Foul Cleave, but also AoE. Another change for Warrior is Onslaught being 3 stacks instead of just 1.
I hope I don't
and also the Beast Gauge cost got removed from it, so there's really no downside to using it now. In fact, the damage is actually pretty relevant in your overall rotation. So, as a rule of thumb, just never let it cap on 3 stacks. Just always keep 2 stacks, 1 stack, depending on how much mobility you need in the fight. Another change that seems minor at first, but is actually really big, is Warrior Tomahawk now not interrupting your basic Storm's Path.
I noticed
Storm's Eye
that
combo.
it doesn't interrupt the combo
reason why this is massive
now.
is because often you have to reposition or move away from the boss somewhere where you're out of melee range. It used to be
And you
that
can use the
I just didn't
tomahawk
use
and it
Tomahawk
wouldn't
during
interrupt
those
it
times
now. That's
because I
great.
didn't want to interrupt my combo.
Yeah.
I have no excuse anymore now, and whenever I can't reach the boss in time, I should be spamming Tomahawk on cooldown. Now this is not a lot of potency, it's just 100, but this can stack up over a fight. Ideally, of course, you should find a way not to stand far away from the boss at all, because it is still just a tiny bit of potency. Maybe I should look into the critical hit Machinist Warrior build. Let's see. Anyways, that's all the Warrior abilities for now. Before we move on to Mitigation, let's have a look at how all of this plays out. So as Warrior, you still want to pull with Tomahawk whenever possible. Now Dark Knights already had to learn this lesson, but do not pull with Onslaught. The reason being that you are screwing over the melee DPS behind you. If you pull with Tomahawk, the boss will walk a distance towards you, and the melee DPS will arrive at the boss's location sooner. Whereas if you pull with Onslaught, you just rush in, and the melee DPS are gonna have to walk that much further, and they're missing GCD. After that, you wanna open with a heavy swing, and then immediately use 1 stack of your Infuriate. Now don't panic, you don't have to spend this on Inner Chaos immediately. We just want to get that cooldown rolling. After that, you use Maim, and then you use Storm's Eye. This will apply your damage buff. After this, using your newly acquired damage buff, you're going to use Onslaught as well as Inner Chaos. Or alternatively, before level 80, your first Fell Cleave. Now we're all set to go into the Inner Release phase. That's because we have our damage buff running, and we're not capped on Infuriate stacks. So we've got some time to Fell Cleave in peace. So use Infuriate as an off GCD ability, and then spam Fell Cleave, weave in your first upheaval, use another Fell Cleave, use another Onslaught if you want to, and then use your last Fell Cleave. This is where my basic opener ends. From here on out, there's just a few rules. Always maintain Storm's Path, never let your Infuriate stacks cap, use Upheaval or Orogeny on cooldown, use Inner Release on cooldown, never cap on Beast Gauge, never cap on
The new best way to make money online that nobody's talking about
So many
is something you've never
rules.
heard of before.
Onslaught stacks, and never use Inner Chaos or Chaotic Cyclone stacks during Inner Release. And that's all you need to know for now about the offensive abilities for Warrior. Let's move on to our Mitigation. Our 2 bread and butter mitigation abilities, Rampart and Vengeance, are still here. Rampart mitigating 20% for 20 seconds, and Vengeance 30% for 15 seconds. Vengeance is great during AoE pulls because it also deals 55 potency damage to each enemy for each attack during a pull. So whenever it's up and I do big pulls, this is one of the first cooldowns I'll pop. This is actually a ton of potency, so make sure you consider that whenever deciding which mitigation to use. Reprisal is still the same. This is both single target and AoE, lowers the damage of the target by 10%. This is great to help mitigate damage on your allies. Shake It Off is a shield for 15% of your maximum HP to all allies around you. This is probably my favorite warrior ability. It also increases the damage absorbed by 2% for each of the following abilities absorbed: Thrill of Battle, Vengeance, and Bloodwetting. However, in practice it's never worth using any of these abilities just to get the 2% increase on Shake It Off. So I personally don't pay any attention to that. I just love using it for the 15% maximum HP shield. At level 76 it also adds a 400 potency cure for everyone affected by it. So Shake It Off is best used whenever there's predictable incoming damage, such as raid-wide damage, just to assist your healers. And it's generally not worth using during tank busters because you're going to dispel other mitigation that you might already have up. Now let's take a look at two very important warrior abilities, and this is where a lot of the strength of Warrior's kit comes from. We have Nascent Flash as well as Bloodwetting. Before level 82, Bloodwetting is called Raw Intuition. At 82, Nascent Flash also upgrades through the trait Enhanced Nascent Flash. It used to be that Raw Intuition was just a mitigation ability. However, this was changed with Endwalker, so if you're an ex-warrior player, pay close attention now, because these abilities changed quite a bit. Both abilities will heal you for each weapon skill successfully delivered. So that means if you're hitting 5 enemies at once, you're successfully delivering 5 weapon skills. So that's a cure potency of 2000 for you right there.
That's huge. That's huge. What?
Now this is where the two
bro.
abilities become different. Bloodwetting will give you damage mitigation of 10% and apply a barrier to you equivalent to a 400 cure potency heal. Nascent Flash does the same thing, but on a target of your choice. So basically, Nascent Flash is Bloodwetting or Raw Intuition, but for your main tank or whoever you want to shield. So if you're off tanking and you see a big tank buster coming in, giving your tank Nascent Flash is massive. Now you have to be really good with the timing, because the damage mitigation only lasts for 4 seconds and the healing only lasts for 8 seconds. If you're not taking any considerable amount of damage, you can use Nascent Flash to help out someone in your team regain full HP and alleviate some stress from your healer. During the release week, the amount of people I've saved using Nascent Flash because of all the new Sage players is insane, because they restore 100% of the HP that gets restored on you as well. That healing is absolutely massive, almost makes White Mage players a little bit jealous. The other two healing abilities are Thrill of Battle and Equilibrium. Equilibrium is a fantastic ability with a cure potency of 1200 that you can just use on demand. It has a 60-second recast time, and it's fantastic to use after tank busters. If you're feeling like you're getting kind of low, just throw that on. Just make sure not to use it too early, because 1200 potency cure is a lot. The other ability is Thrill of Battle, and you might be confused why I called this a healing ability. Now, what Thrill of Battle does is increases your maximum HP by 20% and restores the amount increased. It also increases the HP recovery via healing actions on self by 20%. So one combo that you're going to see a lot is using Thrill of Battle before a tank buster to increase your maximum HP, so you don't die from the tank buster, and then once the tank buster is over, using Equilibrium to restore the HP you just lost. And on top of that, it's also just a 20% flat heal, because by increasing your maximum HP after 10 seconds, whenever Thrill of Battle runs out, you automatically regain 20% of your HP. So all of those are the warrior mitigation abilities. And that was my rundown for Warrior and Endwalker. I might make a more detailed guide at some point. Or
I got you, bro. I see you. I see ya, homie. Alright, this is nowhere near ready yet. So we're just gonna jump back in. Ah, shit. My light just flickered. Yeah, but yeah, so I'm thinking about starting Guild Wars 2. I know a few people that have. I also thought about starting a character on Dungeon Fighter Online. It's a side-scrolling game, like a 2D kind of game. So, and I'm not really the biggest fan of a lot of those kinds of games. But I guess it's like a hub-based MMO. and it's like extremely popular in certain areas of the world, and there's like a really large like niche audience for it. So we're worried about 190. Yeah, I was just trying to see like what they just a couple things that they say, because even though I'm not level 90 yet, I can still incorporate certain things they're talking about to my rotation that I'm doing now. You know what I mean? So I didn't really need the full rundown yet. I was just trying to get a couple tips because I haven't played Warrior in quite a while. Speaking of which, I still don't know how to get these as actual buttons on the side of the screen. I don't know how to do it. What would be the fastest way for me to level up and like hit max? Most defenses you get even before 80s. You learn how they work along for max. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So like, cause yeah, there are certain things that I've done ahead of time. Like Reprisal, that's a big one. So this one here reduces damage dealt by nearby enemies. That's not a thing that where it's like damage done to me by all nearby enemies is reduced. That means that like all enemies within a certain distance of me have their damage reduced no matter who they attack, right? That's just a damage reduction flat rather than a damage reduction specifically to me, I do believe. I don't even use low blow. I don't think I've ever actually used that ability. I should, but I don't. $54, so one more level and I get Inner Beast upgraded to Fell Cleave. That's gonna be huge for me. Upgrade Steel Cyclone to Decimate, that's gonna be big. Okay, reduces damage taken by 30%, that's big on Discord server. Definite plug-in, I guess, since they don't hit as hard as anyone. Oh yeah, I forgot to join the Discord. Yeah, I forgot. Hello.
Alright. Yo.
You up to?
Yo. It's so weird hearing myself twice.
Isn't it,
I
dude?
forgot to mute the I forgot to mute the stream on YouTube since I'm in here now.
You never sound the way that you think you sound when you hear your voice.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It is night and
God.
what the hell was that?
That's thunder. That's the storm rolling in. I'm really hoping my electricity holds out, bro. So, what do you think?
Yeah, I just peered outside and I see clouds.
Yeah.
I gotta hold on. I gotta read my password from Firefox for a second. I have all my passwords saved into one spot because I make him something even I can't remember.
Right. I can't wait until I unlock Raw Intuition, bro. Like, that's so good. Where it's
Yeah, it used to be absolute dog water.
yeah.
All I
And
did
then
was
they
a 10%
updated it.
damage reduction, so it was kind of useless.
Yeah.
But then everything else they've added to it makes it insane.
Yeah.
And then when you get it into the 82 version, whatever the name of that is, it just gets even better.
Bloodletting.
Yeah, bloodletting. It just gets ridiculous after that point.
So, real quick question. What do you think would be the fastest way for me to cap out my warrior? Like, to hit level 90? Should I just, like, keep running through dungeons and shit? Or, and, like, doing
That's
my
pretty
my
much the only
dailies,
reliable way to
or-
get XP afterwards.
Okay.
Once you do the MSQ, that's pretty much your go-to. But once you catch up to MSQ, it's actually better to do the MSQ as that
As the
specific
warrior,
job.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, because then you'll be netting a lot of XP.
I wish that I could get XP for doing Palace of the Dead. It would be
You can.
nice if they took like a percentage of the XP
You can.
get and used it. I didn't know that.
Yeah. I found it out. Not the first time. I started doing it. I noticed I was 50 when I was doing it the first time. I noticed I was actually getting XP for it. I was like, wow, this is actually pretty good XP. I get leveled once or twice from Palace of the Dead after 50. Alright. Come on. Alright, let me pull up the warrior skills. Yeah. Raw intuition. Because it used to only have the damage reduction on it. But then they added the restore health, which each weapon skill hit to raw intuition, which made it infinitely better.
I like how they also made the
here's the
Mythical
thing.
Tempest, the thing that combines with the AoE ability. I like how they made it so that that also gives you your damage boost.
Yeah,
That's so nice.
and eventually it will generate up your gauge.
yeah.
I think it's at 74 you get that. But the thing is, what made raw intuition useless in Shadowbringers until they fixed raw intuition and Walker, well, eventually leading into Bloodwedding, but you get my point, is Nascent Flash would do the same effect of restore health with each weapon skill hit. However, you targeted a certain player, basically anyone else in your party, and you would also give them that regeneration, plus raw intuition damage reduction. So rather than having a 10%, actually no, I think the damage reduction effect is new to Nascent Flash, but you would rather take the regen because it doesn't only affect yourself. Oh, and put it on, say, someone who's in trouble or with very low health. That's less mana the healer has to spend keeping them alive, and more they can worry about keeping you alive. While you're both regenerating health by you doing damage.
Oh yeah, I'm at like less. There you go. Come on. I'll say I'm like less than 25% HP here.
Which made raw intuition useless. And then Endwalker came out and they actually made it useful. And then the mastery turning it into Bloodwedding just cracked it. Gain stem to flow, which doubles the damage reduction for 4 seconds, which is half the duration. And then gain a damage shield equal to a 400 potency heal. It goes from literally the expansion made it from being useless to being ridiculous.
Dude, man, that Steel Cyclone ability kind of sucks until you're able to fucking upgrade it.
Honestly, a 170. Oh wow, that is trash.
It's like 170. It's and it takes 50 of my fucking beast gauge to use.
Yeah.
Like, why wouldn't I just use Inner Beast? Like, what? That's a potency
To be
of
fair,
330.
Decibit 8 is not much better.
I
It's
heard
really
Decimate,
not much better.
like the videos and stuff I've seen where show Decimate as not being that bad.
It's not that much of a potency increase. Because it's a 170 potency for Steel Cyclone, 200 for Decimate. Now, when it gets really good is when you unlock the Nascent Chaos system at 72, and that'll give you Chaos Cyclone and Inner Chaos. Which give them... Decimate becomes Chaotic Cyclone, dealing a direct crit with a potency of 320 to all enemies. So it's a forced direct hit, forced crit. At 60% increased power.
Oh wow.
So that's gonna hit for about triple its normal damage.
Yeah, that's great.
And then AR Cat. My English is off today. Inner Chaos
Word.
is the upgrade to Fellcleave, which does the same thing, but at the potency of 650.
Yeah.
That used to be
Valkyrie is
920,
like-
by the way.
yeah, I heard they
They
nerfed
really
it,
nerfed it.
which sucks.
It
I mean,
still
it
does a
makes
lot of
sense.
damage.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
makes sense
tanks
to
were
nerf
ridiculous
it,
in
but-
Shadowbringers. Tanks were ridiculous. To the point where they actually were keeping up with other damage dealers in damage dealt.
Yeah,
Practically making damage dealers useless. I cannot English suddenly. But yeah, once you get 70, that's a pretty big offensive power spike too, because it takes Berserk and just breaks it.
yeah.
Berserk grants increased duration to
That's the
Surging
one that
Tempest,
goes up to
and
Bloodwedding, right?
no, Berserk is your offensive cooldown.
Well, no, I know that, but
Normally,
I
it
thought
makes-
that the third one up to like upgraded or something.
Oh, Berserk does upgrade to something.
Yeah.
Berserk normally gives you 3 swings of direct crits. What
Yeah,
in a
kinda like
release
Delirium
does,
for Dark Knight, it's the exact
Yeah.
same thing.
well, this is where Delirium shares the similarities. Grants 3 stacks of inner release, allowing you to use Fellcleave and Decimate without cost and guaranteeing they will be direct crits.
Oh yeah, the other one doesn't have the crit guarantee. Delirium
Yeah.
doesn't. That's the
Yeah,
only
it's direct
difference.
crits on all swings. But this one does it for specifically your beast gauge spenders instead of just any attacks. Also grants inner strength, which nullifies stun, sleep, bind, heavy, and most knockback of Brian effects. Basically makes you unstoppable to CC. Keeps its Surging Tempest extension. And then a level 90 specific mechanic grants Primal Rend Ready,
Yeah, Primal
which is your level
Rend.
90 weapon skill.
Yeah, Primal Rend that here, that's freaking nuts, man.
Take Decimate, Fellcleave, plus your charge, which would be Onslaught. Merge them all together into one ridiculous ability. What the hell?
Fucking nuts, it's one of my brother-in-law's friends, but it's just like, oh, this random ass white car just chilling in my, chilling in my carport. Like,
I get what you mean.
fuck is this guy?
You want to make sure you use your overpower before you try using your Mithril Tempest.
Oh no, I hit the wrong button. I tried to do mouse 4 to activate my rampart, and I hit
Control mouse 4.
Yeah, I hit control mouse 4 instead of shift mouse 4.
Smooth.
Damn it. I think we're supposed to be taking these things out, but my team is like, stop following me, you dumbass. That's not one of the ones I can even. not even gonna worry about the little blob fucking things, man. Oh shit, I forgot to reactivate my defense stuff. There we go.
I think you eventually, how do you get that? I think you get it at 50. Yeah, Infuriate.
54, I just unlocked a new ability, I just can't remember which one it is.
54, that's Fell Cleave.
Oh yeah! Which replaces Inner Beast, right? Yeah. Oh, the red marker is stack, okay. I thought the green, like the green gold, whatever the fuck other thing was stack, the little cross thing. I thought
Yeah,
that
this is
was
gonna be doing a
stack,
lot
I
more
guess.
damage now, by the way.
Yeah, well once I can actually use it, yeah.
Oh no, yeah, you had to learn that by doing the warrior storyline.
Yeah.
That's not one you learn automatically.
But in order to do the warrior storyline, I gotta go through and do hard trials. I finally found
no,
a
that's
party
for-
to do the.
That's for the weapon. That's for the weapon. That has nothing to do with the warrior storyline.
I thought that's what that was.
No. Trust me, I wouldn't have never finished the warrior storyline if that was the case.
Is it worth doing the weapon thing? Like, does the weapon actually turn out to be anything decent?
I mean, in appearance, I have no idea. In
I'm
terms
not
of actual
talking about
stats, no.
So, okay, that's what I meant was actually.
In terms of actual stats, no. You're just wasting your time.
I see, my control core. Fucking thunder's loud as shit, but my control core is the ability that, that makes it so that,
Yeah.
like, when they, it reduces damage and makes it so the enemy takes damage when it tries to attack me.
Oh, Vengeance?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the only skill that does actual damage back to the attacker.
Yeah, the only, side ability thing, yeah.
The only defensive that does it of its type.
Yeah.
All the other ones are just a 30% damage reduction. That's the thing. Some of the warrior defenses are a lot more unique than others.
I noticed
Also a little
that.
They're definitely also more offense oriented as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like
More
Vengeance, you gain the
retaliation
Thorns
and
damage.
shit, yeah.
Yeah, and then Home Gang, which is your people like to call Immortal cooldown. What it would do is it would prevent you from dropping below 1 health, basically preventing you from actually dying.
Yeah. Don't they call it the same thing in World of Warcraft though? Isn't it called Home Game in that too?
No,
No? I thought it was.
there's no such cooldowns in World of Warcraft. I think we're a bitch if that was the case. I mean, there is cooldown stuff, there's that, but like a stop death in some ways, but usually there's either drawback or it's got like a 10-minute cooldown.
Right. I'm trying to do like a combination of things. Like, I'm trying to kind of weave together my, I'm trying to weave together my Berserk, my Inner Beast, and my Infuriate.
I was gonna say, yeah, for you, you don't really have the like damage you'll have at later levels, because Infuriate, it doesn't really get its value until 66. Because what that'll do is every time you use by that point Fell Cleave and Decimate, it will reduce Infuriate's cooldown by 5 seconds.
Right.
such a game changer, by the way.
Oh my god, I didn't even
Because then
realize
it'll
I was
allow you
supposed
to
be
actually-
attacking the wings.
Once you get to that point, you won't have to save Infuriate for burst damage. Because then you'll be able to just use that freely. Especially when you get the Chaos system. Oh, because then that'll make it actually worth using more frequently.
Oh no.
In fact, you actually prefer to use it out of burst than in burst.
Might not make this. I think our healer is good.
Yeah.
I don't know how that ability hit me, but I don't get that.
I think you were still in its radius before it actually.
I'm doing everything I can, man. You got me. Get him, bro. Nope, dead. Yep. Yeah, I'll take some of the blame for that one, because I definitely was attacking the dragon for probably a good 2.5 to 3 minutes, not even realizing I was supposed to be attacking the wings. The whole because we were
see
talking.
you were attacking the dragon itself. I thought you were
Yeah.
attacking the wings.
No, totally attacked the dragon for like almost 3 minutes because we were talking and I wasn't paying full attention. Sometimes I'll do that. I'll kind of like zone out to where I'm not really playing the game, but because the AoE circles on the ground that the enemies cast, because it's such a different color, I can zone out on my screen and not really pay attention, but still see when the AoE circles come. So sometimes I'll do that and then just dodge the circles, even though I'm not really paying any attention to the game whatsoever.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm trying to get into the habit of
That
like,
really feels kind of garbage, honestly. But the higher level you get, the more fun it actually feels. And I'm not just saying that from a... You give it a me.
right.
Because at that point, it actually feels like it's properly made.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to get into the habit of, like, building my stuff, like, building my beast gauge all the way up, and then, like, I'll go ahead and use, I'll do an inner beast. Oh, fuck, I messed up already. I meant to activate that one ability. But, like, I'll activate the ability that makes it so that my attacks are,
Direct spreads, yeah.
like direct
You're
crits,
berserk.
and then I'll use the inner beast.
Yeah,
and
that's
then
what
I'll
you're
use
supposed
the
to do, but
thing
then once you get to
more.
70, that's when Berserk actually becomes useful. Because it'll no longer be Berserk, it'll be in a release.
I did it again, bro.
Attacking the dragon, yeah.
So stupid. I don't know why I keep doing that. Oh, we got
I
it.
was sitting here chatting.
Yeah, not paying attention.
I was gonna say, I think it's already home. I think I just got to shut up.
The fuck is the A on the ground for? What did we do that for? That's weird.
You know, I just noticed that. That is a good question. What the hell is that?
Right? Like, there's nothing that he does.
Walk the mirror out to the edges, you dumbasses.
Yeah, like he doesn't do
Oh,
any
for
abilities
the idiots.
that make us have to do that. The only ability he has that makes you do like specific movement is the one with the lines, and that's like it.
Well, if you see the green seed above everybody, that's the meteors.
Yeah. This is can't even use. I could use that for my Reaper. But I'm not even gonna worry about it. Alright, so how do I know if I have a warrior class, like, quest? Is there a way to know the difference between, like, the job quests
How
and my
you can
regular
check
quests?
is they'll be like blues. However, it'll show the warrior icon, which if you don't remember what it does, you can check the
Yeah, that's what the
Soul of the
Bravura
Warrior.
was. The Relic Reborn Bravura. The one I was talking about with that weapon.
That's not the one. That's not the one. If that's the only one you have, you need to go back to. Shit, it's been so long.
Ah, shit.
All right.
I could probably look it up if I pulled up my Google. Quick.
Got it. Yeah, I remember I had a specific thing that allowed me to pull up job quests, so that I could actually pull up the storylines for 'em.